Hi all, welcome to something completely different on the channel and just a bit of fun into the bargain is going 0-30 in FUT Champions. You get the pros obviously going 30-0, we decided let's swing it about and let's get 30 losses. Now I will explain as the video goes on, but if we could smash the links would be awesome. Sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter at @GIsLegend. All the links are down below for playlists on the channel and social media links as always. And we live streamed this on Monday night. I'd been meaning to get up, but just due to circumstances and so forth, it did not materialise. So we're using a Legion squad of Cells, Danilo, mostly Legion, sorry, Brazil with Danilo at right back, Pablo, Shoji, Roussillon, Rennie Adelaide, Sarabia, then Thiago Mendes, Bulaya, informed Slimani, and headliner Orsic. Now I hadn't. Basically, what I wanted to do was play all 30 games, not properly though. I'm going to highlight this right away. We did not play the 30 games properly for a simple reason. The reason being that we thought if we play the 30 games properly, like over a weekend, it would get tedious for us. We would feel bored, and people fundamentally as well would say to themselves, "Oh, why are you why did you not bother playing?" What we wanted to do with these 30 games was go into them and give 33 wins basically. And on Monday night I thought, for what time it was, I thought let's do it, see how long it takes, because I knew while doing it there might be problems, like you'd either hit like a roadblock, like where the game doesn't work. So what I've done is I've sped up the footage to a good extent, not too quick obviously, because otherwise then you don't see what's going on. But all 30 players, we just played in as normal, and all we did was, I wanted to make sure once I got the gamer tag, I'd messaged them, so it took sometimes a little bit of time when I paused it just to make sure that I'd got the gamer tag. If not, I would then make sure I got it from the player list, and then I'd quit. And then I'd go and message the player, say, have a free win on me, road to 30, 0-30. And the aim of it was, by messaging all 30 people, it was to see what kind of reactions we actually got from people in the community. Like, are people considerate? Are they just going to be saying, "Oh, are you stupid? Why did you even bother?" Or just fundamentally whole different barrels of reasons. It's almost like doing psychology of the community. Like, what do they do in this type of situation? Because I wasn't fussed about FUT Champs. I thought, I'm not going to put myself I meant to do it last week, but I thought some nice teams I thought was seeing, and I thought might as well just do it, have a bit of fun, see what kind of bites, if people bite to it, or say, because you might get folks saying, "Oh, you're rubbish, why did you bother, you can't even play FIFA, you have to quit because I'm better than you," and you get, I honestly have no idea what people would say. If someone came to me and said, "I'm going to give you a free win," I'd be like, fair play, likes. I didn't expect that, and especially because I'm giving an own goal. For all we know, the people that I'm playing, especially on a Monday night, the players might be struggling for, say, silver 1, gold 1, bronze 1, you never know. They might just, or there could be in a bad spell where they're maybe losing, they've maybe played 25 games and they're 9 for 15 or 9 for 16, and because I've now gave them a free win with maybe the 4 remaining games, they might say to themselves, "Oh, I might finally get silver 1," or if they're trying to get gold 3, they might suddenly get it because they now have that free win that they suddenly did not expect. Because I wasn't fussed. I thought, that's why I've kind of used what makes look like a semi-decent squad. It's it's not the greatest team I'm using, but it's not the worst. And I wasn't fussed about what the team names were, I wasn't fussed about the gamer tags, I wasn't fussed about anything, I didn't really care. The end of the whole fundamental premise of this was to have a bit of fun, of a different variety, giving the free wins, seeing what people's reactions were, and just kind of having just general interest with it, because everyone will always react differently, and I would imagine from the 30 players, if most of them twig pretty quickly that something's odd Like, you've basically scored an own goal, you've paused it, you've quit, you've messaged them, you've basically done 3 things pretty quickly, and I would then say to myself, this person's up to something. That's all you would fundamentally think right away. And like, I would be saying to myself, and most times a lot of the people especially might have like their notifications on, and I thought the thing that I was most intrigued about was to see what because who knows what standard they'd played. I was facing, for all I know, I could have played these 30 players. Say if I got the exact same 30, for all I know, I could have played all 30. Obviously not over Monday night, because I'd be absolutely knackered, because I would never get it done. But I might have got, say, 10 wins or 15 wins. Who knows? I might have been 15 and 15 or whatever. Might have had some rage quits thrown into the equation. But we honestly do not know, because obviously we weren't playing for anything bar 30 losses. But for me, like, the thing as well, during this, when I was streaming it, was when people were, when I was getting folk in the games, I was going to think, because I was doing own goals as well, people might do like dabs or sushis or a celebration that just designed to annoy you. And I thought, let's see if this happens or not. And oddly enough, it never, like, we didn't get it like once, I think. In fact, I tell you that just that game there, I love how I spoke about it and that guy dabbed. So, would he have dabbed regardless, even though, because of what I just did? I thought, bud, all I'm giving you is a free win. I'm not playing for it. And I was just checking as well how many games I've played. But, as you saw as well, we got bits from Spurs, one of our Discord members. But some teams, like most of the teams, when I was looking at them, like this team for example, I genuinely thought, oh, if I played it, I would say I think I could beat it, because yes, it looks half decent, but looks like there's holes in it that I could take advantage of, or at least that's my assumption anyway. But the biggest problem as well, you've got to remember when you're doing this, you've got to factor in, if you're the away team, you've got to get the ball off your opponent pretty quickly to then put the own goal in. And if you don't get it quick enough, then sometimes you've then got to say, right there, try and just let them score to then quit. But it was also in my thinking as well, do I then do like an own goal on top of it, just to say, there, that's kind of like, I was giving you basically a goal anyway, kind of attitude. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts really. But at the moment it's been plain sailing. Game's not went against me in any shape or form in terms of, and you can tell there that's the first time I've had to check, because one of the first times I've had to check, because the game itself I think was starting to kind of play up a little bit. I want to say it wasn't being itself. But no, it's not been too arduous. And to think about it, I've had to speed this up, and that's just nearly halfway in about 15 minutes. So I'm like 15, 16, 17, about 15, 17 minutes, roughly, give or take. And that's not too bad really. I would say if I'd been, you want to kind of get through games quickly to the point where you're like, right, there you go, message the player, give them give the goal. It's like rinse and repeat. It can feel like arduous, and I will say as well, in case anything happens during the video where you suddenly miss a whole pile of games, it would be because the game itself decides to play against me. That's the only thing I would assume. And interestingly, a couple of the times when we were doing this, people weren't readying up, and I think that happened as well when I was having that little blank period. Like, this was a team I thought, I know the guy would probably sub folk on, but I thought this team, especially at the start, if I was to get an early goal, and the funny thing was, I'm sure he paused as well, like I paused or he paused, but I was like, why pause? I'm going to give you a free win. Don't waste your time. Just take the free win, get out of here and be appreciative. But because at the end of the day as well, what I want to see is, because once you get the 30 messages, you want to see, right, to see, well, it was it's to see what reactions people give and like what kind of like what people say. Like, I don't expect all 30 to respond. If I am brutally honest, I would imagine about 2/3 will respond, and the 1/3 that don't respond are the ones that are like, who's this guy? Like, he was crap. Like, why did he do that? I'm like, it's called being nice. It's just because I'm trying to do something different, and also because I'm giving myself 30 losses because I couldn't care less. And at the same time, 30 losses ain't going to make a difference. And at the same time, we just want to get through the games as quick as possible, so that way and as you can see, that's just now starting to have the issues within the game where it is starting to kick us out. So what I think I would do is, to combat that issue, is, and it shows how many games it's taken, like that was like 17 games, I think that was like 17 games. So basically 3/5 of the way through it is when we finally hit the roadblock, as it were. And I had people in the stream were saying, oh gee, if you get a certain badge, will you end up having to play them? I'm like, nah, I'm not caring. Like, this guy's got a Rangers badge called Linfield FC. It doesn't bother me. Like, I couldn't care, as I said, I didn't care about the team name, I couldn't care about any element whatsoever. Even if I had to, like it would almost feel in essence, oh, I should report them. But as you can see, that's twice there where it's kind of hit a stumbling block, and it shows that the game itself is like almost kind of like trying to fight against me, because it knows that I'm trying to do something that's kind of against the grain, as it were. But you just kind of say to yourself, you work around it and you just get on with it, because there's always going to be problems within any game. It's how you kind of address it. But I would say this though, I won't do this again. I've done it once, I won't be doing it again, that's for sure. Because it's not, say, draining, it's because you're trying to get through it as quick as you can, but you're also, while you're being generous, some people, like, this could be a week where, because I've done this 1 week, people might be like, oh, thank you, but next week I could do it, say for example, and the 30 people, 2/3 could be abusive, saying everything under the sun, but then the 1/3 that are nice, or at least appreciated that, oh, you've gave me a free win, I didn't expect that, have a nice day. Like, they might want to know what the reasoning for it was, and you never know what they might say. Like, that's kind of what it is, you never know what might happen, and like, each to their own. That's kind of the way I look at it. And like, it's just one of these things. And what I made sure as well, before I started all the games, I made sure that I had enough contracts on all the starting 11. But I was also intrigued to see if by the end of the 30 games, if the fitness was affected, because all the players were on 99 fitness. Would fitness over 30 games be even affected enough to make an impact? Like, so say, because I've been doing what I'm doing, even if it's only 2 or 3 players, would they go from 99 to say 98 after 30 games? And what I was noticing, oddly enough, that they weren't. Like, I showed it in, I think I showed it in the gap where you saw where the games were starting to kick me out. I think in that period I checked, and it was, I think after like 20 games there was still nothing, and I thought, that's 20 games. I know I'm not doing anything really, but it's hilarious how you can do all this kind of, like, I know you're not really sprinting, but you're kind of still at least trying to run with a bit of energy, and there was no impact whatsoever. Like, I would have thought it might have even just, it's like when you're driving a car, like, you think to yourself, oh, it might just eke just a little bit of fuel, but I wasn't, which was hilarious. I think for me as well, if I was to also do this again for another time, if I was to ever do it again, I would do 10 games on the Friday, 10 games on the Saturday, and 10 games on the Sunday. Because I did it all on Monday night, sometimes it does burn you out quite quick because you're trying to get stuff done and try and get through the games as quick. If you do the 10 games each night, it gives you each day, for kind of like, as I say, different reasons. It will give you a better idea on what people's reactions are. Because you could say the Friday people, 7 out of 10 were very nice, but 3 were idiots. Saturday's people, 10 out of 10 were idiots. Sunday, 10 out of 10 were brilliant. You never know. It's like everything varies, and like it was just it's like the reason why I'm trying to show you each game is just to kind of show that yes, we played all the games. We're not like, we didn't give it to somebody else to say, right, go and do the 30 games for me. I thought, let's try and, like, it was a bit annoying that I couldn't show all 30 games, because when it came to that middle period where the 2/3 in, when the game started to play up, I was trying to do everything from, I thought my workarounds were trying to just like dashboard the game or try and run down the clock on the controller, so it's like you press the Xbox button to then try and kick you that way, but the game itself wasn't kicking me. It must have started to realise, I'm not going to kick you. You can do that all you want. You can be inactive. Ain't going to kick you. There must be like a wall within the game. Once you've kind of hit that wall, it won't kick you. It doesn't matter what you try and do. The only way it can kick you is if you quit the game. That's the only way it'll work. Like, quit the game or turn the Xbox off. That's like the only way it'll work. And I thought, this is unbelievable. Because I was trying because what I was trying to do when I was doing it during the stream was maybe go on Xbox, like Microsoft Rewards, or go and check stuff, or check the messages or whatever. Try and do anything to just keep off the game properly, so you're getting the countdown. But even the countdown, once it finished, was still the circle was still going and it was still counting. It wasn't kicking me, or it was resetting itself. Well, we just get on with it, and the way I'm looking at it, most folk have been looking at it. They've not really celebrated, or if they have, it's been unintentional. But 30 games played, done and dusted, and I would honestly say it's not been, I wouldn't say boring, it's not been boring at all. So obviously we are going to prove that we've got the rewards, so it's like bronze 3 and the stuff you get from that. Obviously we're not opening the packs because we're just constantly building up packs at the moment. Obviously we're going to show as well the players, like what did the 30 players kind of think, and could we, well, I've had like conversations since to kind of say, right, cheers, blah blah blah. So yeah, as you can see, 0. I hate where it says weekly matches remain. We know it was 0. Like, it's 0 wins with 0 games played. It's kind of like, and I thought it might even show it in the schedule, but not to be. So that's that element of it all done and dusted. It is now time to deal with the messages. So pretty much every player at the moment, looking at it, has at least, most players have replied, which is positive. And that's at least a positive sign. And some of them looking at it have at least went a little bit in depth for the conversations, which I've noticed. So I would say, looking at it, most people have generally been very, very appreciative of getting a free win, like, because they've either needed a certain rank or they've got them to a certain win. And that's kind of why we've, like we said, it's for have a free win on us, and then we've tried to ask for their FUT Champs records just to see what they were trying to go for. And some people, most folk have been looking at it. A consistent rate is that folk are like, thank you so much, this is great. So fair play to them. Like, so it's an interesting like element to say, and folk are saying, oh, I've subbed to your channel, and that's like, this was even before I'd even like got the chance to message some of these people. So fair play to them, willing to kind of go at that as well. But also we were explaining that it's for a YouTube video and just kind of where we were going from there. And some of the folk looking at it as well, I think we had one guy that was 15-2. I was like, 15-2, and we're 0 and maybe say 15. I'm like, that makes no sense. That's kind of why we asked as well, because we wanted to see what records were. So if people were saying, oh, I'm 8-7 or 8-6 or whatever, then why are we getting these people? Like, I know it's like a 15 game swing, but like what you can get like anyone that's like plus 15 or whatever for like the yellow. But yeah, consistently most people have at least replied. Looks like only a handful haven't, so we take it as it is, but it's fair play to most folk willing to say cheers for the free win and taking it from there. And some people may have seen it and they've just not bothered to reply, or they maybe don't check their messages or notifications or whatever. But let me know, folks, in the comments down below, what have you thought of this video? Has it kind of intrigued you? Has it been a waste of time? Have you thought fair play to you for even just doing it? What kind of like impression have you gained from this? So you're welcome to smash the likes on this, folks, would be massively appreciated. Comment down below how your weekend league went, and did you have any free wins at all? Smash likes always, sub to the channel if you're new, follow me on Twitter, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you all later.